Welcome to the Utah Outdoor Recreation Grant 5-minute how-to video guide series. Today we're looking at completing your budget, so let's begin. To start, we have some important terms. Applicant is the entity applying for the grant funds. The partner is the entity who is supplying cash or in-kind to the applicant. A one-to-one match means for every dollar the applicant puts in, your will put in a dollar. The cash match is the part of the applicant's match that is paid for by cash. In-kind match is the part of the applicant's match that is from volunteer labor, discounted labor and services, or donated materials, all the non-cash contributions. Eligible costs are considered necessary and reasonable to the construction of the infrastructure, and ineligible costs are either unnecessary for the construction, happen before the contract is signed, or land donations. The budget consists of 5 sections. Here we have the cash overview, the in-kind match overview, the cash detailed description, the in-kind detailed description, and additional ineligible project costs. So let's take a closer look at these. For Section 1, Cash Overview, we'll list all sources of cash funding by type for the entire project. Here we can see the type of funds. We have a grant, we have the applicant cash, and partner cash. For source of funds, in this case, we have the Office of Outdoor Recreation providing this grant. We have the applicant and a partner. Please place the date secured for these funds. If the funding is still unsecured, like if you're waiting for a grant, you can go ahead and put pending there. Add up the cash totals and you'll have your total cash funding. In this case, $175,000. Pay attention to this green box up here. It'll turn green if you've provided sufficient match, or it'll be red if not. Other grants you receive can be used as applicant cash match, so keep that in mind. Now we'll do the same for our in-kind match overview. Here we'll list all sources of in-kind match for the entire project. Here we have type of funds, we have applicant in-kind and partner in-kind, our sources of funds, our dates, and then our values. We add up the values to bring us to our total of in-kind funding. Here, $11,955. Add that to the cash overview section total, and we have our total project cost of $186,955. After the overviews, we take a closer look at each section. Here in Section 3, with the cash detail description, you'll go ahead and put the type of service, the vendor. If you don't know which vendor you'll be going with, go ahead and put awarded bidder, and then use your best to estimate all the costs that you'll be using in your grant. Pay attention to these 3 columns, the Utah Outdoor Recreation Grant Funds, the applicant funds, and the partner funds. In the Outdoor Recreation Grant Funds, make sure all the funds in the column are eligible costs. The rest, go ahead and assign who will be paying for each for the grant budget. These 3 columns should add up to the extended cost, which is also the same as your total cash for the project. Now we do the same for the in-kind detailed description. We list the type of service, the source of the funds. Here with community volunteers, these will be used by the applicant. And pay attention to this number, $27.82. That is the 2022 Utah Volunteer Hourly Rate, a great opportunity to use volunteers to get in kind. We'll add these up and we'll have our $11,955, which is the same we had in Section 2 in the in-kind match overview. This box right here will turn green if this section matches that Section 2 total, and once again, we see our total project cost right here. Finally, the last section is the additional ineligible project costs. These costs, while not technically eligible for a match, can still show further commitments you've made for your project. Some examples we can see here are work already completed, land donation, and environmental clearances. So our total eligible project cost here is $186,955. But as you can see from this land purchase, there was an additional $100,000 of ineligible costs. While not matchable, it does show a better commitment to the project. If we look at what's in allowed or disallowed costs or matches, we can see that allowable costs or matches include necessary, reasonable costs that contribute directly to the completion of the work of the outdoor infrastructure project. Please read this list carefully. For ineligible costs or matches, we like to use the 5 Ps: purchase of land, planning, prior work, permitting costs, and preservation, i.e. maintenance. If you have any questions about these, please reach out to the OOR staff and we can help you decide if it is going to be an allowed or disallowed costs. You'll see our contact information on the last slide. A few frequently asked questions about the budget. One is using your own staff. Is it cash or in kind? Well, organizations with limited resources can use their own staff for up to 10% of their total match. This is if they're being paid with cash and you have the proper payroll documentation during this time. Also, staff hours that would have been already paid, regardless if they're working on the project, are disallowed. And finally, if staff is not being paid and is volunteering their time, that is considered in kind. We also have room for contingency. Contingencies are used in case you have inflation or the budget goes up Just something to keep in mind in case you need to increase your budget a little bit. These costs are allowed, but they should never exceed 10% of the total budget on the project. Also, if you do include a contingency, make sure that the batch is increased so the share of the project cost is never less than 50% for that applicant partner combination. Here is our contact information. Please reach out with any questions about the budget, eligible costs, the grant program, and if you want to download these slides, you can do so at business.utah.gov/outdoor/grants. You can also download the budget template there, as well as the 2022 UWork program guide. Thank you.